Hi, my name is Justice, and this is day 9 of Healing Out Loud. I am documenting my depression so my kids don't have to lose their mom the way I lost mine. We listen and we don't judge. And I'm talking about my wig today. I just threw it on. I didn't want to do anything. I threw some cornrows and I just threw it on. I ain't trying to make sure it was sealed to my head. So y'all let me make it, please, today. Okay? It's not styled, nothing, just thrown on. All right. Moving forward, fast forward a couple years into boarding school. And this is when I came home for summer break. This summer will be the summer that changed everything. This break was very memorable. Did I say that right? It was a couple of things that happened during this time, and we're going to start with this one. Okay, so you have to take in consideration I had been away from my mom for a substantial amount of time, and that angered her. It caused a lot of resentment. If I could guess, putting myself in her shoes, she didn't know how to process her emotions, and she felt like she was losing me. Because one, I wasn't at home, I was away, and there was things she would do, right? So she would make fun of the way I talked. At this time, I was very preppy, and she felt like anything I said was condescending. In fact, her favorite word was facetious. So any given thing could set her off. This particular summer, I was spending my time split between my grandfather, my mama, and my grandmother, my Mimi. At the beginning of the summer, we were in Marshall. My grandfather at the time owned his ranch out there. And it's just like ranch life. You know, we would go fishing and other country stuff. And my mom had a little house that's on the property, and that's where I stayed from the beginning part. But anyway, she picked with me about everything. Any little thing I said, any little thing I did, she would get mad. And she would say very hurtful things to me. Y'all have to understand, my first bully wasn't a kid in school. It was my mama. And what she didn't realize was all I just wanted was her love. I wanted her acceptance. I wanted her approval. I just wanted to make her proud, make her happy, but she never seen it that way. I think she felt like she had so many people against her. She started to view me as one of them as well. And I wish there was anything that I could have done differently for her to see me in another way. But that's just the way it was. So one particular day, she went off on me about something I could have said, something I could have done. And then she tried to beat on me. Now, you got to keep in mind, I had been away all this time. And in my mind, I thought that part of my life was over for a lot of reasons. I hadn't been home enough, for her to even feel like she could do that. And two, I know in my heart, I didn't give her any real reason. I wasn't trying to upset her. I was doing everything I could not to upset her. But I just couldn't win. At this point, I was in my early preteens. Maybe I was already a teenager. And I just know this time I didn't allow it. I refused. Now, I wasn't being overly disrespectful, like cursing or anything. But I know I said enough to let her know, basically, you're not about to put your hands on me. And I think I told her something along the lines like that she was mentally ill and needed help. That situation got so blown out of proportion. I know my grandfather wound up getting involved. I don't even remember how it happened, like if she called him or what. But I remember going to the house and he sat me down and he was completely on her side. And honestly, I guess it put him in an odd position because that's his daughter. And he's old school. That generation believes that you don't go against your mother no matter what. And that's why a lot of kids feel powerless. Because in a lot of communities, that's just how it is. I didn't talk back. I tried to explain at first, but whatever my mom told him, he believed her. And then he said something to me that changed my life forever. He told me, don't worry about going back to that school no more. I'm taking you out of boarding school. And that one decision changed every aspect of how my life would go from that point. Everything after that went left. And as I got older, I started to realize something. A lot of us weren't just dealing with childhood. We were dealing with adults who didn't know how to handle their own pain or situations correctly. And instead of protecting us, they projected it onto us. So we grew up confused, trying to earn love from people who didn't even know how to give it. That's at least the way I feel about my mom learning from that time. And that one decision that was made after that, it caused my whole life, my whole projection of my life to go in a completely different direction. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. This is day 9 of Healing Out Loud.